After observing hundreds of coaching sessions, my own, my students, and those of coaches I've mentored over the years, a pattern emerges. Not a formula, not a script, but a rhythm. Coaching conversations tend to move through certain phases, and different competencies naturally rise to the surface in each one. Let me show you what that looks like while being very clear that this is descriptive, not prescriptive. I want to be really careful here because I know how tempting it is to take a pattern and turn it into a template. What I'm about to share isn't something I invented. It's something I've observed again and again in effective coaching sessions. This arc describes what tends to happen when coaching is working well, but it's not a rigid structure you need to follow. The conversation always follows the client's needs and energy, not a predetermined script. The client leads, you respond. That's the only formula that actually matters. Let's look at how sessions typically begin. In the opening moments, 3 competencies tend to be primary. First, presence. You're fully there mentally, emotionally, energetically available for your client. You're not thinking about your last meeting or your to-do list. You're here. Second, trust and safety. You're establishing the container, the space where your client can be vulnerable, where exploration feels possible. And third, agreements. You're co-creating the session agreement. What will we focus on today? This opening phase is about creating the conditions for coaching to happen. Without it, the deeper work can't emerge. Once the container is set, the session typically moves into exploration. This is where active listening takes center stage. You're attending fully to what your client is saying, and equally important to what they're not saying. Evoking awareness emerges naturally through your curiosity. You're following threads, asking questions that help them see what they can't yet see on their own. Here's what I've learned. This exploration phase is often where the most powerful work happens. Don't rush through it. Stay curious, stay open, move at your client's pace, and trust the process. As awareness deepens and clarity emerges, many sessions naturally move toward action. This is where competency 8, facilitating client growth, rises to the surface. What will they do with these insights? What concrete steps, experiments, or commitments align with what they've discovered? What might get in the way? Are there obstacles, internal blocks, or external constraints that we should anticipate? And what support do they need? What resources, accountability structures, or mindset shifts will help them succeed? Notice I said many sessions move toward action. Not all. We'll come back to that. Now, there are 2 competencies I haven't mentioned yet, and that's intentional. Ethical practice and coaching mindset don't appear at one particular point in the arc. They're operating the entire time. Think of them like bass notes in music. You don't always consciously hear the bass line, but if it disappeared, you'd feel it immediately. It holds everything together. Your ethical boundaries, your confidentiality, your professional standards, always present. Your belief in the client's resourcefulness, your openness and curiosity, the constant hum beneath every moment of coaching. These aren't steps you complete. They're the foundation that never stops. Here's where I need to be very direct with you. Do not force this arc onto your session. Some sessions start with action because the client walks in knowing exactly what they need. Your role is to support their clarity, not force exploration. Some sessions never get to action because the real work is awareness or perspective shift or emotional processing, and that's completely valid. Remember what we've said throughout this course. The client owns the agenda. Your job is to be present, curious, and responsive not to shepherd them through predetermined stages. Follow the client, not a template. Always. Let me name the mistakes I see coaches make when they learn about this art. First, forcing a methodology or structure onto the session. Second, rushing to action before the client is ready. They've barely explored the topic, but the coach is already asking, so what will you do about it? Third, treating competencies 1 and 2 as mere background noise instead of recognizing them as the foundation everything else depends on. And fourth, following your own agenda instead of the client's. The antidote to all of these: follow the client wherever they need to go. Trust the natural emergence of awareness and insight. Stay curious about what your client truly needs in this moment. Here's the principle I want you to carry forward. Continue coaching in the direction of the client's desired outcomes unless the client decides otherwise. That's it. The competencies serve the client. The ARC serves the client. You serve the client. Your presence, your curiosity, your commitment to their growth, that's what matters most. Enough theory. It's time to see this in action. In the next video, I'll set up a demonstration session with my client, Karen. I'll tell you what to watch for, and then we'll watch the session together. Ready to see integration in practice?